Hi, my name's Neil Cummings and welcome to my course Building an E-commerce App with .NET Core and Angular. And first of all, let's take a look at what we're actually going to be building on this course. So in this particular course, we're going to be creating an e-commerce style of store. And if I just go to the shop page, then we can see what we would expect from a store. We've got all of our list of products. We've got pagination. We've got filters, so we can go and filter by specific brands, or we can filter by specific types as well. And we can also search for products, and we have breadcrumb navigation at the top, and we can just go ahead and add products into our basket. And if I just add a couple of different products inside here, then we can see that our basket updates, and we can go and click on the basket and be taken to the basket view of our application. And we can see that the order subtotal is automatically calculated, and if we proceed to checkout, then we're going to be asked to log into the application. So I'm just going to log in with one of the users, and we sign in, and we automatically populate the shipping address if the user's been here before. And we can also update this and save this as the default address for the user, and then we can choose a delivery option. And then we can go and review our products that we have in our basket. All of the order summary is updated as we go through. Then we go to payment, and we're using Stripe as our payment processor. And I'll just use one of their default test cards so that we can see the payment going through. And then we submit the order, and then the payment should be successful and our order is confirmed. Now, we'll have received the money here in Stripe as well at this point. And if we go and view the order, then we can see that payment was received, and this confirms that our application or our order was successful. And if we go and take a look at the dashboard, we're expecting to see $227.99. And across in our dashboard, we can see that we've received the amount of $227.99 inside there for customer Tom. So this is the functionality that we're building in this particular application. And in order to achieve this, we're going to be using .NET Core and Angular. And in order to build this in the .NET side of things, we're going to be using the repository and unit of work pattern. We're going to be connecting to a database. We're going to be adding identity so that we can log in and register users to our site and authenticate to certain parts. We'll also be taking a look at generics and the specification pattern in order to achieve this. And on the Angular side, then we've got all of our normal Angular functionality. We're going to look at the modular architecture. We're going to look at lazy loading, routing, forms, creating reusable form components, and much, much more. Also supporting this particular application, we're going to be using Entity Framework as the object relational mapper. SQLite just for development, not for production, but I find it a great database to work with on development. We'll also be using Bootstrap to provide the styling for our application, so we don't have to write too much CSS. And Angular by its nature uses TypeScript, so we'll be making use of that and learning about that, and also Git for our version control. Prerequisites for this course: if you're a beginner, it's going to be too hard. The concepts we discussed early on in the course, fairly early on, are going to be things like generics and the specification pattern and the repository pattern and the unit of work pattern. And these are concepts that if you've never written a line of code before, then this probably will be too hard for you. Alternatively, if you're quite experienced with .NET Core and or Angular, then this might well be too easy for you and the pace might be too slow for you. But if you're somewhere in between that area, then this course will be just right for you. There is an expectation that you have some prior coding experience for this particular course. And if we just look at some prerequisites, there is an expectation you have some programming experience. 3 to 6 months is fine. And if you're coming from another language, you'll also be fine for this as well. Experience with object-oriented programming would be helpful. And there's also an expectation you'll have some experience with this. If you've taken any of my previous courses, building an app with .NET Core and Angular, building an app with React, Redux and Firestore, or building an app with .NET, React and MobX, you'll also be fine taking this particular course. It's only really not suitable for anyone who's never coded anything before. Even limited experience, you should be okay with this course, I would think. We do explain every line of code as we go along, and we start everything from scratch. I didn't give you any pre-built code to help with anything, so we do go through and build it from absolute nothing through to the final application. So why this course then? Well, I believe in practical learning, and I believe that we learn best when we build towards a goal and complete a complete project and have something that we can see that works by the end of it. And everything we do is learning by doing, as well as a small amount of theory to explain the concepts that we're going to be looking at as we go through each section and each phase of this course. And what you'll need to participate in this course is a computer, of course, with an operating system that's either Windows, Mac or a Linux computer. Any one of those is fine. And we'll also need an IDE or a code editor, and because we're using C# on this course, that means we'll need either Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio or Rider from JetBrains in order to develop the .NET application part of this particular course. And with the introduction out of the way, let's begin.